Perhaps the most profound wisdom isn't out there, but deep within, speaking to us in the language of symbols. The only question is, are we listening? Welcome to a deep dive into Carl Jung's truly landmark book, Man and His Symbols. This isn't just any psychological text. It's the only book Jung ever wrote specifically for a general audience, not just fellow psychiatrists. Its very genesis was extraordinary. Right at the end of his long, brilliant life, Jung had a powerful dream that his complex ideas could reach beyond the therapist's office. He saw this book as his final legacy, finishing his own section just 10 days before his death. If you want to understand the core of Jung's message, this is the essential starting point. Jung looked at modern life and perceived a profound sickness, a dangerous disconnection from our own inner world. We tend to see ourselves as rational beings, in complete control. Yet, as Jung noted, you can't just tell yourself to stop being in a bad mood. We get swept away by emotions all the time. He believed that as we became more civilized and scientific, we cut ourselves off from basic instincts and a vital connection to mystery. Primitive societies lived in what he called mystical participation with the world. A tree wasn't just wood, it might have a spirit. An animal could be an ancestor. This gave the world a rich, colorful meaning that we have stripped away, leaving our inner world feeling dangerously empty. Man feels himself isolated in the cosmos because he is no longer involved in nature and has lost his emotional, unconscious identity with natural phenomena. So what is this crucial part of ourselves that we've lost touch with? This brings us to Jung's core diagnosis, the reality of the unconscious mind. Before Jung, the unconscious was often viewed merely as a glory hole of repressed desires, a dark basement where we shove away bad thoughts. But Jung completely reframed this. He saw the unconscious as a vast, natural, and constantly active partner to our conscious mind. It's not an enemy. It's a vital part of who we are, always trying to communicate with us. Jung offered a perfect analogy. Think about a name you've forgotten. You know it's there somewhere, but you just can't access it. Has it stopped existing? Of course not. It's just dipped below the surface of your consciousness. This isn't just a passive reservoir. It's no mere depository of the past, but is also full of germs of future psychic situations and ideas. Many artists, philosophers, and scientists owe their best ideas to sudden inspirations that appear from the unconscious. For example, the chemist Kekule dreamed of a snake with its tail in its mouth, leading him to discover the closed carbon ring structure of benzene. Robert Louis Stevenson's plot for Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde was revealed to him in a dream. If this unconscious mind is real and actively trying to communicate, what language does it speak? This leads us to one of the most essential ideas in the book, the difference between signs and symbols. A sign is simple. It points to a single known thing, like the letters UN, standing for the United Nations. A symbol, however, is a word or image that points towards something vague, unknown, or hidden from us. It's packed with meaning that goes far beyond the obvious, leading our minds to ideas just beyond the grasp of pure reason. A sign means less than what it is, while a symbol means so much more. A stop sign is a command, A religious cross, however, encompasses an entire universe of meaning, sacrifice, suffering, resurrection, that can never be fully explained in words. Signs are invented. Symbols are born. According to Jung, the number one source of these natural, spontaneous symbols is our dreams. We don't invent our dreams, they just happen to us. They are a pure, unfiltered expression from the unconscious, speaking its native language of symbols.
To illustrate how dreams can map our inner world, Jung shared a powerful dream of his own. In a pivotal dream, Carl Jung embarked on a symbolic journey through his own mind, a dream he later called a short summary of his life and the development of his mind. This dream was so significant that it was a personal and meaningful communication from his unconscious, advising him to reconsider an inadequate judgment he had made with his conscious mind. For Jung, this dream meant myself, my life, and my world, my whole reality, serving as a direct representation of his individual psychic structure. The dream began with Jung finding himself in his home, which he understood as a symbol of his personality and its conscious field of interests. He was initially on the first floor, in a pleasant 18th century sitting room. This level represented his more recent, conscious intellectual interests. Surprised by this unfamiliar room, his curiosity was piqued, and he wondered about what lay beneath. Descending to the ground floor, Jung discovered a darker space, with paneled walls and heavy furniture, dating from the 16th century or even earlier. This level symbolized the still medieval concepts from his parents' world, particularly an understanding of divine omnipotence and providence. However, for Jung, as his Christian faith evolved through encounters with Eastern religions and Greek philosophy, this older world had become antiquated and obsolete, appearing still, dark, and obviously uninhabited in his dream. His journey continued deeper to the cellar. Here he found a large vaulted room with a floor made of large stone slabs. The crucial detail that connected this space to ancient Rome was his examination of the mortar in the ancient walls, where he found it mixed with splinters of brick, immediately suggesting their Roman origin. This symbolized deeper, older layers of his intellectual development and historical interests, which had grown from his studies in comparative anatomy and paleontology, including a fascination with early human fossils. His descent didn't stop at the Roman layer. Pulling an iron ring on one of the stone slabs in the cellar, he uncovered a narrow flight of steps leading into a kind of cave. This was a prehistoric tomb containing 2 skulls, some bones, and broken pottery. This deepest level represented the most primordial aspects of the human psyche, reaching back to the ancient origins and fundamental foundations of human experience. If we look into our dreams, what recurring patterns do we find? Jung called these the archetypes. Archetypes are not inherited images, but rather innate tendencies to form representations of motifs, universal patterns of emotional and mental behavior, without a known origin, reproducing themselves across all times and cultures. One of the most important archetypes we encounter is the shadow. This is the dark side of our personality, made up of all the qualities we find unpleasant in ourselves and try to repress. The flaws we refuse to see in ourselves are the exact same ones we can't stop seeing and hating in other people. Jung argued that during the Cold War, the West was projecting its own unacknowledged vices, deception, threats, the will to power, onto the communist East. By failing to confront our own shadow, we see it everywhere else, turning personal flaws into massive global conflicts. However, the shadow isn't purely negative. It also contains valuable, vital forces and creative impulses that need to be assimilated, not just repressed. The shadow becomes hostile only when he is ignored or misunderstood. Beyond the shadow, Jung identified other significant figures. The anima is the inner feminine side in a man, influencing his feelings, moods, intuition, and capacity for love. She can be a mediator to the inner world, helping a man to discern hidden facts and tune into inner values. The animus, conversely, is the inner masculine side in a woman, often appearing as sacred convictions and providing initiative, courage, objectivity, and spiritual wisdom. Both the anima and animus have destructive aspects if not properly integrated, leading to things like anima moods in men or rigid, inaccessible opinions in women. However, when integrated, they become invaluable inner companions, helping to bridge the conscious and unconscious. As a medieval mystical text quoted in the book explains, the anima can say, "I am the mediator of the elements, making one to agree with another. That which is warm I make cold, and the reverse, and that which is dry I make moist, and the reverse, and that which is hard I soften. I am the law in the priest, and the word in the prophet, and the counsel in the wise. I will kill, and I will make to live, and there is none that can deliver out of my hand." How do you personally understand this quote? Drop your reflections in the comments. Everyone may see it differently. The very center of the psyche is the self. It's the wise, regulating core, the totality of the whole psyche, distinct from the conscious ego. The self is an inner guiding factor that is different from the conscious personality, and that can be grasped only through the investigation of one's own dreams. It is always pushing you toward balance and wholeness. It often appears as powerful universal symbols, such as a stone or crystal, representing permanence and completeness, a cosmic man embracing the universe, or a helpful animal, symbolizing our instinctive nature. And this brings us to Jung's ultimate message, the lifelong process of individuation. Individuation is the journey to becoming who you truly are. It means integrating all the conscious and unconscious parts of your mind, your public persona, your private shadow, your masculine and feminine sides, into one unified whole. The goal isn't perfection, but to become a complete person who has acknowledged and integrated all aspects of themselves. Jung used a beautiful metaphor. Each of us is like the seed of a pine tree. We already contain a latent blueprint for wholeness, but that blueprint only becomes a real, unique tree by consciously engaging with the specific things in our life, the soil, the rocks, the weather. We become ourselves not by following a generic formula, but by responding to our unique path, listening to the inner voice of the self. This journey isn't always smooth, but when we engage with it, remarkable things can happen. It can lead to synchronicity, meaningful coincidence of inner and outer events that are not causally connected, but are profoundly linked by meaning. Jung believed these events often accompany crucial phases of individuation, hinting at a deep psychophysical oneness between matter and psyche. In a world often filled with anxiety and confusion, constantly seeking external answers, Jung's work reminds us that the most valuable guidance may already be within us. His final message is an invitation to embark on this inner adventure, to explore our own unconscious, and to consciously listen to its wisdom. He profoundly asked, in a world that's so full of anxiety and confusion, where we're constantly looking outside for answers, maybe the most valuable guidance is already waiting for us. Perhaps the most profound wisdom isn't out there, but deep within, speaking to us in the language of symbols. The only question is, are we listening?
That question, are we listening, haunts me. In a world where we're told to look everywhere but within, Jung's words feel both like a lifeline and a challenge. This song is my attempt to answer honestly. Sometimes we're listening, sometimes we're not, and sometimes the inner voice feels too scary to hear. But maybe that's where the real work begins.
I wake up wearing someone else's face, learn the lines, know my place. But in the quiet when no one's around, I hear that voice I've been drowning out. There's a room I've never entered, though I built this house myself, full of things I've kept from daylight, pieces I can't show to anyone else. What if I let the shadow in? What if I stopped pretending? All these parts I've been denying are just me, trying to be whole again. Just me, trying to be whole again. Dreams keep pulling at my edges, showing symbols I can't decode. Water rising in the basement of this carefully constructed home. My mother's voice, my father's anger, parts of them alive in me, and something older, something deeper that connects us like a buried sea. What if I let the shadow in? What if I stop pretending? All these parts I've been denying are just me, trying to be whole again. Just me, trying to be whole again. I'm so tired of being perfect, tired of keeping it together. Maybe breaking is becoming, maybe falling is how we rise. Maybe darkness is another kind of light. So I'll let the shadow in. I'll stop this endless pretending. All these parts I've been denying, they're just me, learning to be whole again. Just me, finally coming home in the mirror, someone different, but for once I recognize the eyes. They've been waiting all this time for me to realize they're mine.